Friends, I've had conversations with people that are clearly hurting. Maybe they're hurting because they're having financial difficulty. Maybe they're hurting because they have some health difficulty, or maybe they have some thing going on in their life that they clearly need help for, some addiction or something like this. And when you offer assistance, they say, "No, I don't need that." And they puff out their American chest and say, "I can do it myself." And then you watch them spiral down into this thing because they were too proud to take the help that God's people wanted to offer. Yeah, maybe even when we were doing something wrong, God put people into our life to say, "You need to change that. This isn't good for you." And we have some smart remark, or we ignore the people that are around us speaking love and correction and admonition into our lives. That's pride. And see, friends, pride shows up in a whole variety of ways in our lives, but here's what Psalm 10 says about pride in our existence. I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. It says, "The fool has no room in his heart for him." Let me ask you this question. If I am totally full of me, where is my wife? If I am totally full of me and my wants and my desires, where are my friends? If I am always right and I can't listen to anyone else, where is everyone else in the world? If I am full of me, where is God? You know the answer to the question. He's nowhere, because you've pushed him out. And you find yourself standing alone in the temple when the 80 priests tried to tell you to do it differently, and you stand there alone with this giant spot of leprosy on your head, otherwise known as, in this case, pride. And it's divided you from your God because you thought that you were even better than him. And so, friends, as every single one of us has fallen from that lofty perch of self-ambition and pride, as every single one of us has found ourselves with our nose in the mud because of our sin, thinking, "How in the world did I get here?" Friends, here's what I want you to see today. I want you to see that as you fell, there's only one person that can lift you back up out of your sin and out of your mess. And he is the one who was lifted up, yes, lifted up on a cross to be publicly humiliated, to have all pride stripped away from him so that you could be lifted up out of your sin to be made new. Think of what Jesus Christ did. He had all the pride and all the glory, and he left that for Golgotha and grave so that you could be changed. And now, friends, as you come into church and you sing that beautiful old hymn that is an acknowledgement of what our pride truly is, when we say, "Chief of sinners though I be," and you say, "There is nothing to be proud in me," then you say, "I know the solution. Nothing in my hand I bring, but safely to your cross I cling." Friends, are you tired of pride knocking you down? Are you tired of your pride ruining your relationships, your friendships, your businesses, your life, and drawing, yes, even God out of your heart because of your sin? You're tired of that. I am too. It's sin. It's wrong. God loved you. God fixed it. God took that pride away by giving the most genuine, humble sacrifice that could ever be given, where you heard in the gospel lesson that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many, i.e., you and me. He served you when he didn't have to. And when he buried your pride in the tomb and then came out of the tomb, he also made you new. And now that we are made new, and now that pride has been washed away and forgiven, now our new hearts function in a different way. Now our new hearts exchange pride for the fear of God. And we say, as that pride has left me because you have forgiven me, Lord, now I've got all this space in my heart for you and for my friends at church and for my community. I've got all this space to love other people more than myself because you have emptied me of myself. Now, as you have been made new, now you don't spurn correction and say, "I'm not going to listen to anybody else." Now you say, "God has placed people in my life to love me and teach me and help me to grow on this path that I get to walk down towards heaven." Now your heart is changed into something new. Friends, it's hunting season, so permit me a bit of a hunting illustration. I think hunters out there in our church will tell you that hunting is a very humbling activity. I don't hunt, but maybe here's an example that I've heard. You can go out into the tree stand, and you can buy the best bow, and you can get the best camouflage, and you can have the coolest truck, and you can have the most expensive tree stand. You can literally bankrupt Cabela's, and you can stand in that tree stand all day long and never see one deer. But then you know what happens? After about 12 hours, you get down and you walk to your truck, and all of a sudden there's like 6 deer walking right around your truck, and you're like, how in the world did this happen? Or you see one right outside your house. Hunting will take all of your pride and say, you think you know better? It's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Friends, my wife tells me this story about her grandmother's funeral back in Kansas. This was before my wife started coming to our churches years ago. We've been married for 11 years now, so it was a few years ago. She tells me this story of how she went to her grandmother's funeral. And at her grandmother's funeral, they sang that hymn that you all know, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a what like me? A wretch, right? And she said, everybody was all upset because they called grandma a wretch. And she said, at the time, I thought to myself, my goodness, my grandma's a wretch. What a terrible thing to say. But now if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you that she wants that song at her funeral. Why? Because it's the truth. There's nothing to be proud of in here. But Jesus loved us anyway. This wretch, this sinful person was changed from sinner to saint. And so now, friends, as we know that that wretch, Allen Kirschbaum, and every single one of us is changed and loved, now we dispense with that pride and we say, God, it ain't my plan, it's your plan. God, it's not my way, it's your way. Friends, let's make that exchange because of the forgiveness and grace that was freely given by Jesus Christ. Now let's make that exchange and say, I will put my pride aside and I will follow you wherever you lead me. God, I want to fill my heart up with everyone else, including you. Lord God, help us to share the service that you gave to us first.